Hi, I'm Sam, and this is Ella, the creator of this documentary.
Diet culture in our society is a problem, with the public being sold the idea that perfection is possible.
Ella and I have both had significant weight losses and know the struggle beyond weight loss.
We've discovered that a number on the scales cannot define our happiness.
And with that, here is Beyond the Scales.
You're reading a magazine when you're eating. You will eat more.
Well, fitness influencing is big money, but not all trainers are created equal.
Models continue to be wildly thinner than the average person.
Kate Moss gave Twiggy a run for skinniest model of all time.
Was that in the beginning you think you're losing fat?
I am an accountant. I am half Chinese on my mother's side. I'm a massive nerd and gamer. Weirdly enough, my first word as a child was Sega, because my dad is a massive geek and he loves all of that stuff. I've also lost 269 pounds, which is just under 20 stone.
I'm Stephen Box, and for the last 10 years, it's been my life's work to help other people with their fitness and their nutrition journey. I think it was always a case of, when I was much younger, I used to get picked on quite a lot and, sort of like bullied and things throughout that time. So I always then kind of had an association with, was it because I was small and all that sort of thing. So I've always been kind of on this pursuit to build muscle to the point where I can kind of look like the vision that I have in my head, basically.
I got bullied for my weight, so therefore I started becoming more aware of it, because I wasn't aware of it when I was in my younger years, because everyone treated me exactly the same. No, I didn't get bullied for my weight. I didn't get bullied full stop until I moved schools, and then that was new kid on the block, you're fat. In that lead up to 23, I was going up and up and up, just like, because we'd moved out and I didn't have my mum or my sister or my dad telling me, oh, Ames, should you eat that extra portion? Oh, should you eat that much ramen? I lost 4 and a bit stone by myself, but I was, chicken salads or mackerel salads and very restrictive, and I was just crawling up the walls hungry, because I was like, I'm going to be fit. I'm going to try and be fit for the wedding. I'm trying to lose as much weight for the wedding and to look nice in my size 26 wedding dress that I'd ordered from some random Chinese website, because I just did not want to go through that wedding dress fitting, nor that there would probably be a wedding dress out there right now.
The media make it out to be your friend, or whether it is somebody, colleague at work, they're on the latest juice diet or the latest insert name diet, and it's all an absolute fad. And it is the biggest frustration that I have as someone that's dedicated their life to this whole thing, to study and do a university degree and go on, invested thousands into my CPD over the years. It is my biggest frustration that so many people are misled.
Got married, best day of my life, and then got comfortable. I put on all the weight back over the space of, I want to say, 2-3 years, just slowly gaining more and more, and I weighed 30 stone and 12 pounds, and I went home after my PT session and I cried to my husband and I said, never did I think that I would hit that 30 stone mark, let alone be on nearly 31.
The repetition, the routine and the challenge in seeing myself become better and improve became an obsession, but one that was not like unhealthy. It was just a case of, right, I want to beat my bench PB today, or I want to be able to lift a little bit more on that, or I want to be able to perfect my form on this exercise, I want to be able to squat a little bit deeper. And I was surrounded by people then, as I went to things like university, I was surrounded by like-minded people, and it was kind of what we did. It was our social. It became absolutely everything for us was, when are we going to the gym today?
I'm used to getting heckled. Like, it shouldn't have to be used to it. I'm used to it. I couldn't go out to the mall without getting a look or a comment. I didn't like going out to eat because they'd be like, oh, look, the fat person's eating. God forbid. In a 45-minute journey from college to home via the bus, I had one van that rolled down their window and had 3 men shout very horrible things at me about fat bitch, etc. The buses that were going past, there was one lady on the bus that got her phone out to take a photo. What I thought was College Green behind me, so I moved to the side, phone followed. 50 steps later, another car with 2 girls in there, probably like, I want to say 19, 20 years old, rolled down the window, fat C-word.
Kids these days, they go on Instagram and they'll see someone, you know, take a selfie and how much they weigh, or they'll open up a magazine and there'll be the most incredible looking photoshopped images of, you know, fitness models or fashion models. And what someone's not saying to you is how the whole thing works. I'm not fat, I'm not thin, that number doesn't define me, it doesn't make me the person I am today. All those other things do. Can I set a goal? Can I become better? Can I become more patient, more resistant to change? In all those other aspects, that's who defines me as a person, not the number. That's just a measurement.
I messaged my sister and I said, I've just had the worst day. Like, I've just had so many people just throw me so much shade. It's ridiculous. So she came over and she said, you do realise that if you wanted an out, Mum will be happily paying for your surgery. I had been thinking about it for years, but I was like, do I want to commit? Because that is a hell of a commitment right there. And I was so scared that, you know, I might die on the table or something. My surgeon was so lovely. He explained everything. He said, basically, we will remove 80% of your stomach, including the hunger hormone, which sits in the pouch bit called ghrelin. And he says it will all get removed and you basically end up with this effectively like a banana for a stomach, and you will be able to eat small portions, little and often, and be on your way. You'll be on vitamins and iron supplement and calcium for the rest of your life, but you know, I will pick that any day of the week to being nearly at death's door.
Is it easy? No. Is it simple? Yes. Losing body fat is simple. How you go about it is very, very challenging, especially, like I said, with the amount of confusion out there and so much misinformation. Should you go keto? Should you do fasting? Should you eat carbs after 6? Should you only eat while the sun's up? You name it, it's out there. And unfortunately, what no one really says is how it works. But once you understand how your body burns calories, where calories come from in terms of the energy that you put in, and how you go about then setting up a diet so that you can stick to it, enjoy it, and do it for the rest of your life, that is quite simple.
I've relearned how to eat to nourish myself, because I went back to the gym on the 8th week from surgery. The lower weight I got, I was able to incorporate being able to use the rowing machine, then the treadmill, then the bike, and you know, once I was on a roll and I started seeing myself shrink, it was crazy. I was like, I've never seen this. I've always been big. I've always had a tummy. I've never been a slim person.
The biggest thing about training and nutrition and why I compete in bodybuilding is because I want to be able to set a goal, and I want to be able to then not only have a goal, but I want to lay out a process. And every single day I want to get up and I want to do the process. And when I've completed that process, it doesn't matter what I look like at the end.
I wouldn't see anyone. I would literally, in the first year to 2, if you didn't come to the gym with me, you didn't see me. It was obsessive. My sister said to me, she was like, I feel like if you don't make time for me unless I make time for you to come to the gym. Because I was just so focused on losing the weight, because I was so worried that if I stopped, I stopped. I'm supposed to fuel my body, not fuel whatever I think should be on the scale. I was just like starting to obsess too much about what was there and not realising that it was affecting my workouts, it was affecting my mental health, trying to stay at this lowest weight that I've ever got to, when I know for a fact now that your lowest weight isn't maintainable. Your body levels out.
When it comes to promoting the latest, weight loss shake, because they've I've been on this such and such shake for the last 3 days and I've dropped 2 pounds. great, they probably just did a big poo. And because nutrition, or the nutritionist, is an unprotected title, anyone and their mum can call themselves a nutritionist. I won't name any diets, but there's plenty of weight culture clubs that you can go to, and unfortunately they're not giving any education at all, and they're not trained by professionals.
My journey began into therapy in about 2010. Initially, I worked within agencies, and then latterly, so in the last few years, I've got my own private practice now. I have my undergraduate degree in psychology, and I'm now doing my master's in psychotherapy. In order to kind of cut back on using the scales to define our happiness, it's really important to make sure that we have other ways of measuring our success. I believe that the best way to achieve that is to set realistic, achievable goals over a decent and realistic amount of time. And yes, the scales are definitely going to form part of that journey, but it's about kind of looking at what you're doing, what your practices are, whether the way that you use your scales are setting you up for a good day and a day full of self-esteem or a day full of self-loathing, for example. So yeah, while the scales might be part of it, you've got to make sure that you're doing other things, attending to your physical and your emotional needs every day, prioritising yourself where you can, and maybe just using the scales a little bit, cutting back on that and making them just part of it and not all of it. You cannot prioritise a healthy mind over a healthy body or vice versa. In my mind, they're not disparate, they're joined. It's a holistic approach. It's about prioritising yourself as a whole. We know that negative thoughts impact us in physical ways, and we also know that physical illness or pain or lack of sleep, for example, impacts our mental health. So they're joined, they're connected, and we need to start viewing ourselves as in that way. We prioritise ourselves emotionally, mentally, and also physically, and then we can begin to move towards a sense of well-being when we look after ourselves in its entirety.
Like, I definitely was still full of fat, but I noticed that things were starting to get saggy. I started being a bit more flappy and a bit more creasy in areas that I wasn't used to. From someone who was like running all the time and going to the gym to not being able to like walk very much, and like when I did, I was hunched over and I was just feeling so swollen and so just useless. It was hard, and I was getting infections in my belly button as well from one day I didn't shower. It just got to that point where I was like, I can't deal with this every day for the rest of my life. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, having skin surgery. That really fucking hurt is all I can say. I did not expect it to be as painful as it did. So with the fleur-de-lis, it's they cut you down the middle and also across to get in everything from the sides, and as you can see here, this is where all the action happened, of where my 5 points joined up and then didn't want to heal. And yeah, it goes all along to here and all along to here and as far up to here, and he just like got so much in one fell swoop, so I'm quite happy with that. But I am left with still a lot of top skin, which he will address in the next surgery, where I'll get cut underneath each breast and then pulled up and to the middle as well. Running for the first time after I had it removed was the best feeling in the world, because I didn't have myself applauding.
I teach people about how the scales actually work, okay, because so many people come to me and they've got such a negative view on the scales that they've either been told don't weigh themselves, or they've been told that they should weigh themselves, or whether they should weigh themselves just once a week and they should never do it every day, or other people have told them to do it every day. There's so many opinions on it. It's just a measurement. That's all that is. It's just a measurement. When you understand, when you step on the scales, you're not looking at how fat you are, you're just looking at your relationship with the scales.
Nowadays I'm like, well, the scale says one thing, I know for a fact, but I feel pretty lean, so, and I've done a lot of work, so I'm not going to listen to the scale, so I'll weigh myself once a week now, as opposed to weighing after a poo, after a pee, after like a 2-hour run to make sure that you have no water left in your body, sort of thing. It's awful. Your life can't always be about losing weight, because what's the point? Otherwise, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Can't spend your entire time going, I need to lose like this 1 pound because it's going to make me happy. It's like, is it going to make you happy or is it going to make you obsess?
I do think the scales do help if you know how they work. If you don't, spend a little bit of time realising and understanding how your body changes in terms of its weight, what your body weight is made up of, and then also put in a plan of action on how you're going to use that data appropriately.
What I've gained from weight loss has made me happy. So I've made loads of friends, more friends than my body has room for. I am able to do things that I never thought I'd do. Like, I remember watching on my Facebook loads of people doing the Bristol 10K, loads of people doing this, and I was thinking, I'll never be able to do that. That's never a thing that I can do. And now I'm doing it for the 2nd year in a row. I'm so excited to do it. I remember starting the Couch to 5K in 2017 April, and I was thinking, maybe one day I could do that. And yeah, last year I did it for the first time with all the skin, and that fucking sucked. And then this year I'm going to do it without the skin, and my goal is to get a less time than last year, because I don't have 9 pounds of skin holding me back, so I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, just all the things that I can do now is what I'm happy about. Not the weight that I am, it's the fact that I'm not impeded by my size. I am still the same person, but I get to do everything that everyone else gets to do.
I did this last year. It was hard, but I did it. This year, I feel like it might not be as hard. Like, I've got the training. I have loads of friends on the track who's here today to cheer me on, to cheer everyone on. I've got my family here. If I see them, that's going to be like the extra rush for me. I'm just so excited to show myself what my body can do now. Absolutely amazing. I got 2.5 minutes personal best on not only this 10K, but like my 10K time in general. Got 1 hour, 3 minutes and a second, so I'm so happy. When I first started doing this, I went on the cross trainer, did 10 minutes, and then I lifted weights. And I didn't expect to lose a lot of weight, I just did what I did. I didn't go on Instagram and compare to myself. I just kept my head down, lost what I lost, and worked on what I did. And if I got better, then that was a bonus. I didn't compare myself. That is the worst thing that I could ever say, is comparing yourself to another person.
Is reaching a number on the scale an indicator for success? Yeah, for some people. It is for some. But those people are, for example, a powerlifter or a boxer that's got to make a certain weight to actually compete in a sport. But if you're not one of those people where the weight actually dictates your success, then no, it doesn't determine anything. It doesn't determine how successful I am as a person. It doesn't define me. It is just a way to manage and measure my progress.
I'm not planning to lose weight anymore. Whatever I lose is a bonus. I'm in the maintenance mode. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy at the weight that I am.